The meeting will please come to order. Good evening, everyone. Today is Thursday, December the 9th. I am Trippy Congo, President of Wilmington City Council. I want to thank everyone who has joined us in council chambers, as well as those who are with us virtually. We are going to begin with an opening prayer from Akira Granado.
Heavenly Father, we have assembled to handle the affairs of our city. As we do so, we ask for your guidance and understanding. We pray that our city reaches a place of peace and safety. Keep us out of harm's way and bless those who are in authority. Let respect be key in all our endeavors. Amen.
Amen. This time we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic which one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty,
justice for all.
Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Present.
Councilwoman Darby, Councilwoman Oliver,
Present.
Councilwoman Harley,
Present.
Councilwoman Fields,
Present.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Here.
Councilman Johnson,
Here.
Councilman Field,
Present.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Present.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Present.
Councilman Spadola,
Present.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Here.
President Congo.
Here.
12 present and 1 absent.
Thank you. Reading of the minutes from the previous meeting.
December 2nd, 2021, City Council met on regular session with remote participation on the above date at 6:30 p.m. President Ernest M. Congo II presiding. The opening prayer was done by Akira Granado, Deputy City Clerk. The Pledge of Allegiance was recited by City Council. The following members responded to the call of the roll. Council members Gray, Darby, Oliver, Harley, Rita Fields, McCoy, Johnson, Nathan Field, Cabrera, Dixon, Spadola, and Council President Congo.
I move the minutes be accepted as written.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the minutes be accepted as written. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. This time we'll have our committee reports, please.
June 10, 2021, President, members of Council City, Wilmington, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Community Development and Urban Planning Committee, by virtual meeting to was referred ordinance number 21032 entitled, an ordinance to approve the removal of Mendenhall Court from the official city map. Have given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present: Councilwoman Cabrera, Councilman Field, Councilwoman McCoy, Councilwoman Fields, Councilman Spadola, Councilwoman Darby, and President Congo.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly
Second.
moved and second that the committee report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried.
December 7, 2021, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Finance and Economic Development Committee, by virtual meeting with Anchor Location 2, was referred ordinance number 21057 entitled, an ordinance to authorize and approve a multi-year amendment to the agreement between the City of Wilmington and Teladoc Health, Inc. for telehealth services. Have given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present: Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Harley, Councilman Field, Councilwoman Oliver, Councilwoman Walsh, Councilman Spadola, and President Congo.
I move for this committee report to be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been
Second.
properly moved and second that the committee report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
December 7, 2021, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Finance and Economic Development Committee, by virtual meeting with Anchor Location 2, was referred ordinance number 21058 entitled, an ordinance to authorize and approve a product purchasing agreement between the City of Wilmington and Cambridge Computer Services, Inc. for a storage area network. Have given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present: Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Harley, Councilman Field, Councilwoman Oliver, Councilwoman Walsh, Councilman Spadola, and President Congo.
I move this committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. At this time, we'll have our city treasury report.
December 9th, 2021. Total investment, $502,760,235.38. Total cash on hand, $12,728,979.60. Grand total, $515,489,214.98. Submitted by Dwayne Sims, City Treasurer.
I move the treasurer's report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. This time, I'll accept the motion to accept all non-legislative business.
So moved.
Second.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and second to accept all non-legislative business. On the question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I don't believe we have any in-person resolutions or recognitions this evening. I do want to just recognize a sympathy resolution for Maurice Jones. That's coming from all council, and from Councilwoman Harley, a sympathy resolution for Marion Madeline Clifton. At this time, we will move into public comment. Just as a friendly reminder, for public comment, there is a Google Form sign-up link in the chat for anyone who would like to speak. You have around 3 minutes for public comment. As a friendly reminder, we will remind you when you have 30 seconds left. And please direct all your comments to me, not directly to any other council members. And we do have 4 people who have signed up who are in council chambers, and 1 person who has signed up virtually. Again, we want to thank you for your engagement. First, we have Deacon Earl Tate. Just want to remind everyone to please, unless you're actively speaking, council members and those from the public, to please wear your mask. Please watch your step as you come up to the podium.
My name is Deacon Earl E. Tate II, and I'd like to say that I would like to know what do we have to do to get the speed bumps here in the city, because I have been around talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people say that we need speed bumps here in the city to slow down the traffic, because there's a lot of people that have been driving like a bat out of H2O, and there've been a lot of accidents happen where people not obeying the traffic signs, no nothing like that. What would it take? What would it take for you to get this bill passed? If it's good enough for them in the suburbs, it's good enough for us here in the city. To slow down this traffic and everything, because our kids as well as us, we need some type of stability in that incident, because if we don't, there are going to be none of us left. There are going to be none of us left here, because we all going to be hurt some way or form by the accident, just as I was injured when I was hit by that car in 1956 when I was 5 years old, going on 6, hit, knocked down, and dragged 30 feet or more on 3rd Street Bridge. But thank God I'm still here. But we need some stability of that here, and also we need more places where the kids could go after school for after school recreation, because there are not many places where they can go. So we need a place like down on 201 Vanderbilt Avenue and all. Check that building out, because that's a city-owned building, and you could check it out and see about it. And also I want to wish all of y'all a happy Thanksgiving. A happy Christmas, and may your new year come in brighter and beautiful than this year ever was.
Thank you, Deacon Tate. Next, we'll have D. Marquis Hall.
Good evening. We heard the treasurer's report, $500 million, cash on hand, $12 million, somewhere around there. I'm going to read a devotion. When small businesses in Tennessee were abruptly shuttered in an attempt to stop the spread of COVID-19, shop owners worried about how to care for their employees, how to pay their rent, and how to simply survive the crisis. In response to their concerns, the pastor of a church near Nashville started an initiative to supply cash to struggling business owners. We don't feel like we can sit on a rainy day fund when somebody else is going through a rainy day, the pastor explained, as he encouraged other churches in the area to join the effort. A rainy day fund is money that's put aside in case normal income is decreased for a time while regular operations need to continue. While it's natural for us to look out for others, or while it's natural for us to look out for ourselves first, it says, Scripture encourages us to always look beyond our own interests, our own needs, to find ways to serve others and to practice generosity. Proverbs 11 reminds us, one person gives freely yet gains even more. A generous person will prosper, and whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Is the sun shining extra bright in your life today? Look around to see if there's torrential rain in someone else's world. The blessings God has generously given you are multiplied when you freely share them with others. Being generous and open-handed is a wonderful way to give hope to others and to remind hurting people that God still loves them. Tonight we're going to talk about ARPA funds. We're going to talk about $1 million being awarded to the city to grant to others to help people that are struggling. We're going to talk about people that are having water shut off, people that are having tickets put on their cars for parking, people that are going through the worst right now but aren't receiving what it is that they need. I'm looking at the paperwork for the ARPA funds. I see $12 million to replace revenues lost during COVID, workforce development, $4 million to fund skills training, internships, employment, $5 million to assist nonprofits in restoring COVID-impacted programming for communities, including $300,000 for councilmatic distribution. I think that we need to do more to stop the violence in the city, and I believe that the money's going to go towards doing just that. We have some pastors that are going to speak today. I hope Pastor Ben gets up here and speaks, since Pastor Guy isn't going to be here to speak about the violence in the community and the need for help. We need assistance, and I pray that you guys see that the rain is falling still. This is torrential downpour, and we can be the help. We can be the umbrella, and I thank you for doing just that. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Deacon Hall. Two deacons in the house. Next, we will have Brandon Fletcher.
Good evening. I just
evening.
want to thank the council, or I don't know who I should thank, but whoever was responsible for making the adjustment to the utility payment assistance program on the website to allow people who are behind on their water bills to apply for assistance now. There's a lot of people who need it, so we're hoping that it actually is out there for people to use and have access to those funds. I just would like to say it's getting a lot colder. Cases are up 50% in the state of Delaware. And I think no one should have their water shut off during a pandemic. The health advisory is to wash your hands to stop the spread of the virus. How can you do this if you don't have water? The city is receiving over $54 million in federal funds from Congress and the Biden administration through the American Rescue Plan Act that was provided to help Americans and cities to get through the pandemic. Many people here in the city of Wilmington have lost their jobs or lost income from the pandemic. Any renter who got behind in their water bills is eligible for federal aid through the DHAP program at the state. The state is setting up a similar program now for homeowners. But for many reasons, many people who have applied to DHAP are still waiting for their payment, even though the program is reaching more and more people every day. So why shut off the water on someone who has applied for DHAP and hasn't yet received their back rent and utility payment because of backlogs in the system? In DHAP, in the American Rescue Plan, in a new program set up specifically to help people with water bills, low-income housing water assistance program, the help is here from the federal government. I just would like to note, Congress has done their job. Joe Biden has done his job. People are saying that they don't feel the benefits of the legislation that's passing on the federal level because it's up to the local governments and the state governments to ensure that that money is out there for the right reasons. So I'm asking, before you all go on your winter recess, to use the money that have been provided to help people and stop sending water shutoffs notices and stop shutting off the water. The city should use all these resources that have been made available from the federal government to keep the water on. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Next, we will have Colby Owens.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Kobe Owens.
Good evening.
I'm here again today for the same reason I was here at the last meeting, and that's because of the gun violence in the city. We're experiencing an epidemic of gun violence right here in the city of Wilmington. First and foremost, we need new initiatives that focus on addressing this crisis through a public health lens rather than policing and law enforcement. The violence that has taken so many lives, especially young lives, while also devastating families. See, we know the zip codes. We know the communities that are most impacted. So that's where our resources should go first, especially with all this federal money that is coming into the city. This violence has robbed us of loved ones, caused life-altering physical injuries to those affected, and it also caused lasting trauma with cascading consequences for children, families, and communities. It steals our freedom, our sense of belonging and security, and has ripple effects on our city's economy.
I'm going to continue to call on the mayor and council to take action, not just put out statements, but take actual steps in action until the end of this gun violence epidemic. We can't afford to wait a single day while lives are being taken right here on our streets. We need immediate major investments in trauma counseling. We need to expand hours of our recreation centers in our libraries and also give them the adequate funds to have programming there, programming with specialists who understand what they are doing. We need to make sure that we have safe and secure housing because housing is a human right. And we have to re-engage the young people, the city's youth, our future, who are disconnected not only from their schools, but from employment. Providing additional resources for these areas, in the areas that are most impacted by gun violence, should be the priority. Expanding, and lastly, expanding evidence-based violence intervention programs and non-police crisis response teams to connect with the youth and community. We have to come together as a city to end this gun violence. Thank you.
Thank you. Pastor Ben, I know that you are in the audience. I'm not sure if you wanted any public comment. It didn't check if you wanted public comment, yes or no. Just want to give you. Okay, all right, thank you. Just want to give you that opportunity. Next, we have Richard Smith.
Mr. President and members of the City Council. I'm here for two reasons. First, I'd like to say that NWCP don't get paid for the nothing they do. I've been in NWCP since I was 10 years old. I had never received a dime off the NWCP. I have never received a dime off nothing I did. Everything been volunteer. And the proof is in the pudding, just ask anybody. A couple of nights ago when somebody said that we are hard guns, we getting paid. I have never got paid off nothing. I wish somebody would pay me. The second part is about the water bill. The problem with the water bill is the $100 that they put penalty each month. And every month, if you got a $37 bill and you miss that bill, you pay $100. Plus you pay 3%. I understood that you guys took that, rolled that back to a percentage or something. But if you take the $100 away, I think people can pay their bills. I think it ain't right for a poor community to have to pay $100 penalty because they want to take a bath, drink water, or they want to survive. DPL do not cut nobody's water off from November to spring. They keep heat, they keep water, they keep heat and electric on. It's very cruel if you're gonna cut 100-some people electric off, because if you look at the bill, it's basically the $100 and penalties. Next thing I'd like to talk about is the seniors. I don't see nothing you doing for the seniors in this city at all. We used to have programs all around. We used to have senior centers all around. They used to go pick them up and stuff. Now you got a new generation of seniors. That's me, Brother Tate, and all us who've been fighting civil rights all our life. It's going to be a different ball game, because if we got to get all the seniors together and start bringing them here and ask them for service, ask for attention at the housing authority where they getting treated bad in the high rise and stuff, I think it's time for that. And the third thing about the guns and stuff, we got a lot of problems. We got blacks shooting blacks. We got the police department beating up people and doing things. We got people, water bills going down. We got so many problems in the black neighborhood that it's a shame to look over Charlie Square and it looked like another city. I hope that this money that you all put together, I know it, I can't blame you guys, because you guys have no control of this money at all. But I hope that the mayor, I got a meeting with him, look at our communities and tell you councilmen, what do you want, what do you need to improve your community? I support you guys. Just remember, we got people out there that's poor, that's making under $20,000 a year, some under $10,000 a year, and we need your support. We don't need to be thrown underneath the bus. We need your guys' support. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Christian Waller.
Hello, Council, and thank you, Council President, for the chance to speak tonight. And I'm here, my name's Christian Willauer, and I'm a city resident and also a volunteer with the Homes Campaign. And I spoke at the hearing, I was at the hearing on Monday, and the reason I'm here today is just because, quite honestly, I haven't been able to think about anything else. And on the hearing on Monday, what was on the schedule was an ordinance that a Councilmember Darby, had proposed to have a moratorium on water shutoffs in the city of Wilmington. And it's not on the agenda tonight, and a lot of that is because at the hearing, there was a lot of council members who said that they had concerns about the moratorium. And a lot of those were based on like financial reasons, that, you know, the city needed to collect the money for water bills, and that the city couldn't stop shutting off people's water because it would put the utility at risk of not having the income it needed. And so I wanted to come tonight because I feel like the city, I learned so much at that hearing that really made me concerned, but also made me realize, like, we could do this, you know? The city could, the ordinance isn't on the agenda tonight, but that doesn't mean that the city couldn't just stop shutting off people's water for non-payment of bills. And that's because, you know, as somebody else talked about, there's so much federal resources. Like, we're in a pandemic. And the federal government has put all this money into making resources available to keep the water on. Like the LIHEAP program, the DHAP program, there's all these resources. And so the city doesn't have this choice. Like, the federal government has made it possible for the city not to have the choice that they have to give up revenue. They could. And I guess why I'm here tonight is just to ask you, the city of Wilmington, whoever's listening, whoever has the power to make this decision, stop doing the shutoffs, you know, have a moratorium on water shutoffs, and use the city resources and the city staff to to reach out to the people who need help and connect them to the help that they can get from these state and federal programs. You know who it is. Somebody said, we don't know who needs help. We do know who needs help. It's the 11,000 people who are behind on their water bills in the city of Wilmington. I learned on Monday there's 37,000 accounts, and 11,000 of them are behind on their water bills. That's almost 1 out of every 3. And then I also learned on Monday that the city has sent out residential customers. 500 customers have gotten shut-off notices, and 100 customers are without water. So I just ask you, whoever can make a decision to restore water, we're in the middle of a pandemic, get the water back on for every family in the city of Wilmington. So going into the holidays, people have water. And use your resources to connect people to the help that's out there. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's everyone who was in council chambers who signed up for public comment. Now we will go to our virtual public members. Cheyenne Miller.
Hi, my name is Cheyenne Miller. I'm a resident over in the 7th District on West Side. I'm also with the Homes Campaign. I'm going to speak on 2 different issues tonight. The first is water bills. As you've heard many times tonight, there are a lot of issues going on around the city with people who are getting their water shut off simply because they cannot afford to pay the bill. And we have the money through American Rescue Plan funds to ensure that that doesn't happen. And it's disappointing to know that on Tuesday night, we heard a lot of city council members express that they are not in support of a moratorium that would allow for people to have access to water during the pandemic. And so I'm hoping that we'll see a lot of minds change. I think what's really important to realize here is that when water is shut off at a household, if that household is a rental, the likelihood of that rental, that tenant actually having the water in their name is very low. Most tenants do not have the water in the unit in their name. It is in the name of the property owner. And so it is the responsibility of the property owner to collect that bill and to pay that bill. And so if that bill does not get paid, that means that the water gets shut off while the tenant is there. It's not punished to the person who is not paying the bill, which would be the landlord. I think the effect that these shutoffs are having on renters is serious, and the city needs to take into consideration the way that they're punishing people who don't have the money by turning off water, and that they're essentially using water shutoffs as a punitive tool to collect on bills, as opposed to ensuring that members of the community, whether they're renters or homeowners, have access to the programs that exist that can help them pay the water. The second issue I'd like to speak on is in regards to a letter that was sent to several city council members and the mayor, as well as other state officials, including like DSHA, Delaware Health and Social Services, and organizations such as Reach Riverside. This letter is in regards to the flood victims who were put out of their homes due to the Hurricane Ida in September. Many of these victims are still displaced. They are living in hotels. They are homeless. It is very important that this letter gets responded to, as it proposes a plan for how to house these individuals. As you heard, the city has received $55 million in American Rescue Plan funds, and the state has $200 million in DHAP funds to pay for rent. We could be placing these residents in the market rate apartments that are being built across the city. I know a lot of you have received this letter. I'm hoping that we can get a response. The letter asked for a response yesterday, and I have received no response from any city council member that was addressed in the letter. So I do ask that we receive a response to that letter. Thank you.
Thank you. That does conclude all of our public comments for this evening. Again, we just want to thank everyone who gave your heartfelt concern for. Okay, I was just notified that we have someone else from the public who would like to speak. Joseph Blake. Mr. Blake, I believe you're muted.
Okay, am I here now?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you, President, City Council. I appreciate the opportunity to speak for a minute on the ARP funding. I am also president of the Board of Directors of the Wilmington Community Advisory Council, and I live in the 2nd District. And I just wanted to make sure that folks kind of understand that violence in Wilmington is a very real and very deeply seated situation. I mean, it affects every phase of our life. Living in 2nd District this past summer, there wasn't rarely a night that went past that we didn't hear gunshots and folks getting shot and all kinds of things going on. And these are certainly deep-seated and complex issues. But organizations like the WCAC and council people like Maria Cabrera have been working hard and diligent to make sure that that type of funding goes where it gives the most impact and make the most change in a really serious situation that affects everyone. It isn't just in zip code 19802 or whatever. It's all across the city, whether you live in that neighborhood or not. That violence affects you one way or another, whether economically, whether just your basic public safety. We're all a part of the Wilmington community. So I hope when the funding comes down and has to be distributed, that organizations like WCAC and others that have been on the front line for years, for decades, fighting this challenging fight from top to bottom. And granted, it's a complex issue. I mean, the fact that some people don't have water and are getting their water shut off, and that some people are shooting each other in the street, These are not mutually exclusive. All these things are tied together, and addressing them on many levels and the way that funding is distributed is very important to the quality of life of all the residents in Wilmington. So I encourage council to make, if you make those decisions and when you make those decisions, that you're discerning about where that money goes to, and try to put it in places that have the most impact on issues that affect everyone, and especially violence in the community. Thank you for the time to talk, and I appreciate your hard work in this matter.
All right, thank you. Again, we just want to thank everyone from the community who not only is joining us for our meeting, but who came forward and spoke about your concerns for our city. We want to encourage you to do so, whether virtually or in council chambers. Again, your comments are appreciated. This time, we're going to move to legislative business. Councilmember Gray.
Nothing this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Darby, I believe you're going to present on behalf of Councilmember Darby. Councilmember Dixon, you're going to present on behalf of Councilmember Darby.
Yes. Mr. President, on behalf of Councilmember Darby, I have an ordinance to present and call for first and second reading.
Ordinance 21059, Agenda 0118, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to prohibit the consideration of council members' home addresses in the redistricting process.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to prohibit the consideration of council members' home addresses in the redistricting process.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Intergovernmental Committee.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Intergovernmental Committee. Thank you, Councilmember Dixon.
Thank you.
Councilmember Oliver.
Yes, Mr. President. I have a combined resolution for public hearing, resolution and zoning ordinance. I moved council disclose into a committee of a whole for the purpose of holding a public hearing on agenda 0119 and agenda 0067.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the council dissolve into a committee of the whole for the purpose of holding a public hearing. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Clerk, please read the affidavit of publications.
State of Delaware, Newcastle County, personally appeared the News Journal of the News Journal Media Group, a newspaper printed, published, and circulated in the state of Delaware, who being duly sworn, deposited, and set that the advertisement of which the annex is a true copy has been published in the said newspaper one time, once in each issue as follow. Ordinance 21031, an ordinance to rezone the parcel of land located at 3001 Bauer Street from a zoning classification of M1 light manufacturing to a zoning classification of R3 one-family row houses. Also, notice of advertisement on the resolution for the comprehensive plan for our cities and communities to be entitled Wilmington 2028, signed and notarized by Melanie Altz.
I move this affidavit publication be made a part of the record.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the affidavit of publication be made a part of the record. On the question, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Clerk, please read the Planning Commission report.
May 21, 2021, dear Ms. Seho, attached for City Council's consideration, our City Planning Commission Resolution 2-21, 3-21, 4-21, and 5-21 as amended, along with the related Department of Planning analysis at their May 18, 2021 meeting The Planning Commission voted to recommend the following measures to City Council.
I move this planning commission report be made part of the record.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Planning Commission report be made a part of the record. On the question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Is there anyone from planning who will speak to their report?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank
Should
you.
I proceed?
Yes, yes, you may.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Gwyneth Kaminsky with the Planning Department. Before I begin, I want to note that the proposed comprehensive plan amendment, which is the subject of this first public hearing, is directly related to the rezoning action for 3001 Bowers Street, which is also on tonight's agenda, and I will be referring to both of these actions in my presentation. The city received a request from the East Side Community Learning Center Foundation to rezone a single parcel of land located at 3001 Bowers Street from M1 light manufacturing to R3 one-family row houses. The foundation recently purchased this property, which is situated within the block bounded by Todd's Lane, Bowers and Claymont Streets, and the city's northern boundary. It is currently occupied by a one-story commercial building which has previously been used for storage. The remainder of this block is also owned by the foundation and is leased to the East Side Charter School for its current operations. It is zoned R3 and existing land uses include multiple buildings, athletic fields, and an accessory parking lot. The rezoning of 3001 Bower Street will bring the entire block under the R3 classification and will allow for the expansion of the charter school. In order to move forward with the proposed rezoning action, an amendment to the city's comprehensive development plan is required. This plan guides land use and zoning decisions for the city. The rezoning site is located in the Prices Run, Riverside, and 11th Street Bridge neighborhood, and the plan's future land use map for this area currently shows a mixed commercial and light manufacturing land use designation for 3001 Bowers Street. This land use designation permits uses consistent with the current M1 zoning, such as light manufacturing, wholesaling, and warehousing, but does not support institutional uses such as schools, nor does it support the uses allowed under the proposed R3 zoning, so it must be changed. The proposed amendment to the Prices Run future land use map will change the land use category from light manufacturing designation to institutions, a designation which permits schools, libraries, community centers, and other uses consistent with uses that are allowed in the R1 proposed zoning. This map change is necessary because zoning actions must be consistent with the recommendations of the comprehensive plan. The Planning Commission considered this request at their May 18th public hearing and adopted their Resolution 221, which recommends approval of the amendment to the comprehensive plan in order to support the proposed rezoning action. They also adopted Resolution 3-21, recommending that 3001 Bower Street be rezoned to R3. The proposals to amend the comprehensive plan and to rezone the property were also considered by the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee on June 10th. In summary, the Commission supports the changes proposed to the comprehensive plan to support the request of the East Side Community Learning Center Foundation to rezone 3001 Bower Street from M1 to R3, which will make the newly acquired property consistent with the balance of the block, and these actions will allow for the expansion of the East Side Charter School and institutional use, which is compatible with the surrounding residential neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council members?
I move this council returns
Just
to.
one second, please.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Just want to give people from the public an opportunity. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak for? Yes, you may come, or is there anyone from the public who would like to speak against? You may come forward, please. Please introduce yourself as you come to the podium.
Again, I have history across the Riverside. I was the second family to move in the Riverside in 1960. My family was when they first built Riverside. Then East Lake was across 26th Street. I ain't really against the school. I'm against the businessmen there. There's still businesses around the neighborhood that are operating every day. There's the Aristocrat Club. That club was put together in the 50s. They have a building right down the street. And what I need to know is what's going to happen to those businesses. Still there. They're still hard people. What's going to happen to the Aristocrat Club? I haven't talked to President Briscoe yet. The Aristocrats. I was a member, but we got to be ensured that putting up new houses don't destroy business too. I see the whole concept of this city changing, and the question I ask is it changing for upper middle class? Because it sure ain't changing for the poor folks. I see the wetlands going in across South Bridge. I seen the fixed South Bridge, and all the water came across to 12th Street. There's a problem, and black folks need to wake up and begin to ask questions, because you guys do your job, but there's business around that need to be supported, need to be talked to, and there's other things. If East Side Charter is going to take land, how much more land they're going to take? How much more land they're going to take? Let's look at the whole thing right. I'm very concerned because I live across the Price of Run area. That part of Ty's Lane or 30th Street may be done next. Where do we go from here? Nobody's talking about poor folks. Nobody's talking about people can't afford to buy houses and stuff. Over the section that I live in, there's at least 25 people went bankrupt. Had to go bankrupt because their houses, they couldn't keep their houses. And that's over in Speakman Park area. There's a problem. There's a problem in the city. I hope council can look at it. I'll support Councilman Oliver. I will support her 100%. But President Congo, we need to look at what's going to happen to us. When all the pictures is done, all the dust is done, where are black folks going to be in this city? Thank you.
Could you please state your name for the record, please?
Richard Smith, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak against? Yes, you may come forward, please. Yes. And please introduce yourself when you come to the podium.
My name is Deacon Earl E. Tate, and I would like to say that I'm one of the residents from Riverside. I used to live over there at 44 Henderson Drive, and like when we used to live there, it was nice. It was nice. We had plenty of businesses, plenty of places for the kids to go for recreation, plenty of schools and everything, but now they building up more houses, but where but where do the kids had to go when they come out of school for after school recreation for to do their homework and everything? Where do they have to go? For the nearby businesses that they could go to, like Miss Hattie's sub shop that used to be on Todd's Lane, and the stores that used to be up there on Claymont Street. There was a laundromat and all that the people could go to, and everything. There were stores that they could go to when we didn't have a way to go to the big supermarket and everything. There was plenty of stores like Dandy's and everything, movie theaters and all. But where do they have that they could go to now? Remember, the kids, this generation, it's supposed to be our generation to take up after we leave. But we're not leaving nothing for them. Wake up, everybody, and see.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else who would like to speak? All right, thank you for those who express your concerns. Councilwoman Oliver?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move council returns to regular order of business.
Second.
It's been moved and second that council return to the regular order of business.
Yes, Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 21052, Agenda 0119, whereas Section 5600 of the Wilmington City Charter provides that modifications to the city's comprehensive development plan may be recommended by the Department of Planning and Development with the advice of the City Planning Commission adopted by City Council resolution after public hearing.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, adopted by a yea or nay vote. On the question?
Yes, Mr. President, this resolution approves an amendment to the City Comprehensive Development Plan entitled Wilmington 2028, the comprehensive plan of our city and communities to change the land use of 3001 Bauer Street.
Any other council members care to comment? Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh? Councilwoman Walsh? President Congo?
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent?
Yes.
Thank you.
Declared adopted. Clerk, please read the committee report.
June 10, 2021, President, members of Council, City of Wilmington, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Community and Development, we, your Community Development Urban Planning Committee by virtual meeting tool was referred ordinance number 21031 entitled, an ordinance to rezone the parcel of land located at 3001 Bauer Street from a zoning classification of M1 light manufacturing to a zoning classification of R3 one-family row houses. I've given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present, Councilwoman Cabrera, Councilman Field, Councilwoman McCoy, Councilwoman Fields, Councilman Spadola, Councilwoman Darby, and President Congo.
Mr. President, I move this committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second that the findings,
No, committee report.
that the committee report be made a part of the record. On the question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Are there any findings, clerk?
Yes, Mr. President. To the Honorable, to the Honorable Ernest Trippy Congo II, President of City Council, and Honorable members of City Council from Elizabeth D. Power, Senior Assistant City Solicitor, dated December 8, 2021, regarding City Council findings supporting the enactment of ordinance number 21031 to rezone the parcel of land located at 3001 Bauer Street from a zoning classification of M1 light manufacturing to a zoning classification of R3 one-family row houses. Enclosed, please find a copy of the findings prepared in connection with City Council's scheduled public hearing on December 9, 2021, regarding above referenced zoning ordinance. The findings supplement the record of the City Planning Commission and its report, as well as the record of the Council's public hearing. The Law Department advises their inclusion in the record as a means of complying with Delaware court decisions that involve zoning ordinances of county governments by the principle which apply to Wilmington as well.
I move the findings be made part of the record.
Second.
It's been moved and second that the findings be made a part of the record. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading.
Ordinance 21031, Agenda 0067, an ordinance to rezone the parts of land located at 3001 Barrow Street from a zoning classification of M1 light manufacturing to a zoning classification of R3 one-family row houses.
I move this be known as an enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea or nay vote.
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea nay vote. On the question,
Yes, Mr. President, this ordinance rezones the parcel of land located at 301 Bauer Street, Wilmington, Delaware, within the block generally bounded by Todd's Lane, Bowers, and Claymont Street in the city of Wilmington's northern boundary, being tax parcel number 26030-00030 from rezoning classification of M1 light manufacturer to rezoning classification R3.
all right, and just as a friendly reminder that once you place your vote, we will need you to state your reasoning. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes, and I agree with the findings.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes, I agree with the findings.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes, based on the findings.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes, based on the findings.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes, based on the findings.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes, based on the findings.
Councilman Field,
Yes, based on the findings.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes, based on the findings.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes, based on the findings.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes, based on the findings.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes, based on the findings.
President Congo.
Yes, based on the findings.
12 yeas and 1 absent.
Declared adopted.
Mr. President, I have a final ordinance to present and call for the last third and final reading.
Ordinance 21032, Agenda 0068, an ordinance to approve the removal of Mendenhall Court from the official city map.
I move this be known as an enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea or nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea nay vote. On the question,
Yes, Mr. President, this ordinance authorizes the removal of Mendingdale Court from the official city map.
seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes,
12 yeas and 1 absent.
declared adopted. Any other legislation, Councilmember Oliver?
No, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. That will be all.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Harley?
Yes, Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 21053, Agenda 0120, whereas pursuant to Section 2363 of the City Code, City Council deem it necessary and proper to specify the requirements for review and approval of city-sponsored grant applications and proposals, including authorization for expedited grant applications when necessary prior to council's approval by resolution.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by a yea and a vote.
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that this resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea and nay vote. On the question?
Yes, Mr. President. This resolution authorizes the Office of Economic Development's grant proposal to the Nature Conservancy in the amount of $753,000 and its grant application to the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation in the amount of $475,000. The funds will be used to purchase approximately 10 acres of degraded wetland that's adjacent to the South Wilmington Wetlands Park, which will be made part of the Wetlands Park, and to restore this area to a high-functioning freshwater tidal wetland habitat. There is no negative fiscal impact to the city, although the grant from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation requires a local match of $672,000. Sufficient funds have already been budgeted for this purpose, and the grant from the Nature Conservancy does not require any matching funds. And I just want to mention, as it was already stated in committee this week, that this particular grant is going to help with the improvement of the wetlands project that has already been started, that got started over 10 years ago. And as it was also stated in a committee meeting, that due to different administrations, this project has just been ongoing. And so this is definitely something great, good for the community, and it will definitely help move the project and to complete the wetlands project. It's not completed, so this grant definitely helps with moving it along. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray? Excuse me.
I apologize. Councilwoman Walsh, you do have
Right,
your...
there is a hand up.
Yes, I see your hand raised.
Thank you, Mr. President. What was not pointed out at the committee hearing that I had meant to myself was that, and the sponsor is absolutely correct in the promises that were made to the South Bridge area for so many years, but every increase and every grand thing that we do for the wetlands, especially those in the Southbridge area, should also improve the air level throughout that whole area. So any time you put money into wetlands, it does nothing but give back to you in tenfold. So this is great for your district, council member, and I applaud you for getting this done.
Thank you. And seeing no other hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes,
12 yeas and 1 absent.
declared adopted.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 21060, Agenda 0123, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to redistrict the councilmatic districts of the City of Wilmington pursuant to Section 2-102 of the Wilmington City Charter.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to redistrict the councilmatic districts of the City of Wilmington pursuant to Section 2-102 of the Wilmington City Charter.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that it be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the redistricting committee.
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the redistricting committee.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Fields.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember McCoy.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson.
Yes, Mr. President. I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading. Oh, so I apologize. I have a resolution, not an order. A resolution to present first and call for a third and final reading.
Councilman Johnson, if you can move your mic a little closer, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right, out of source tonight. I have a resolution to present, Mr. President, and call for a third and final reading.
Resolution 21054, Agenda 0121, whereas on March 11, 2021, the President of the United States signed the Federal American Rescue Plan Act into law, establishing the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund Program, which provide funds to state, local, territorial, and tribal governments. And whereas the United States Department of Treasury interim final rule effective as of May 17, 2021, permits funds to be used as follows. One, to respond to the
This
COVID-19.
time, Mr. President, I move for the resolution to be presented to council for a roll call vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by yea, nay vote on the question.
Mr. President, this is a matter we've been moving swiftly as a city to get this in place. Is what it is a categorical plan for the large buckets that we're going to be using ARP funding for. It does not mean that the administration has a specific plan or that we can't change depending on the fiscal outlook of the city, but what it does is sets guideposts. So now, we know how much we're looking at for housing. Now we know how much we're looking at for anti-violence programming. And so it allows us to continue to work with the community to engage and figure out, okay, what are the specific programs that are going to work? And so it at least gives us an outlook for 2022 as a way that we can really rebuild our city. I know a lot of organizations have presented proposals, and we've been looking at some tonight that came in over the past 24 hours. So there's a lot of energy out there, and we need ideas from the community. We need solutions. So I think this is a well thought out plan. As we know, it's been said before, the way the ARP set up is that it is an executive function. So the mayor, has control over, eventually how the funds are used. But on council, we've been engaged in a process the whole time. So, the public knows that we're pushing certain projects. We're pushing funding to be used in certain places. So that's really what we're here for, and I am asking for full council support so that we can move forward with actually implementing this ARP plan.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Johnson. Councilmember Gray.
Thank you, Mr. President. I must say I'm a little disheartened at this resolution. Council members and administration we've been having discussions for months over priorities, and I will say the administration has asked repeatedly for input from council members, and we've given it. And it boiled down to the last discussion I had. There were specifics. There were specific nonprofits that had been selected by the administration based on council's input, and also specifics on what programs would receive money. And this resolution is very general. And I have difficulties with that. I understand it's addressing the needs, but it doesn't say who's going to address it. And in the past, we found that some of the programs that get money, their application process or their outreach isn't usable. It's not friendly to the residents. And we never get this feedback. So I'm really concerned that this resolution is very general. And I have to agree with all of our constituents that spoke. We have water crisis, we have gun crisis, We have the Ida hurricane victims. All of this is going on, and none of this money is specifically helping the residents, and that is my concern. I really wish that we had done like other municipalities where council voted on specific programs or specific needs where they wanted the money to go. And as it's been stated, resolutions are just suggestions, and the way we voted this money to the administration has full power and use of where it goes and who it gives it to. So I'm really a little disheartened with how it has worked out, and hopefully when we get the second input of money, which is next year, council will vote on specifics, gun violence programs, things like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Harley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As it relates to this legislation, the way that I understand it to be is that these are categories as of right now, and that council will continue to have the conversations with the administration as it related to the different organizations and suggestions that we all have participated in, submitting those names to our chief of staff to work with the administration. So I just want, to my understanding, this is the way that this is going, that the conversations are going to continue, and that we have only received 26 million, of the 55. And so I feel that as we continue the conversations and as we continue to collaborate on those organizations that we are in support of to address crime, to those nonprofits that we feel that are making an impact in the community, that we have two rounds to look at and to consider. And I hope that the community has faith in the council that we are on the other side supporting, we're rooting, and we are fighting hard, very hard, to make sure that the nonprofits are going to be supported and that those organizations that deal with the crime and the violence are going to be a part of it, either this round or the next round. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Carrera.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I will say that everything that Councilwoman Harley, without repeating what she said, stands true. There has been outreach. Proposals have been submitted. But first, let's just get it clear that there is a clear divide between who we are as city council legislators versus the administration. We do not have the authority or the power to tell the administration what to do. These funds were given to the administration, as it has been with other cities and municipalities throughout the nation, the governor and others. They can do with it what they see fit. I feel that there has been an inclusive process, that we have been contacted, that we were able to give information and input. There have been meetings and thoughtful discussions, as well as with the community. From looking at this, the monies that has been set aside and having more details on who the organizations are, it is addressing the gun violence and prevention. It is addressing workforce development. It is addressing education, and it's also going to address the neighborhood stabilization that we need, because this is a one-time, lifetime opportunity to have this influx of money and to be able to make an actual impact in our city. So I feel that, yeah, although this resolution doesn't have all the details highlighted, that there has been an upfront and forthright process on how we're doing this, and as Councilwoman Harley said, the discussions will continue with the details and the particulars, but I, for one, have been part of those conversations and the organizations and community groups that I work with, and I have been adamant that there has to be money put in there for prevention, violence, and to address the current issues that we have. And those are the details that people don't know when they come out and speak, but I hope that have a little faith that these are our priorities together collectively along with the administration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also would like to, I'm not going to echo everything my council members have stated, but I would like to reiterate that there has been very inclusive conversations with city council and administration. As my council members have stated, I was talking to Sandra, Sister Ben this evening, a lot of nonprofits are very much involved in this process. We also have something going on with minority contractors. Also, and a lot of people don't know, as Councilwoman Cabrera said, we also have, it's a lot of things that you don't see, the work that council members are doing behind the scene, because all of us have been working diligently, talking about the nonprofits and various organizations from our districts and throughout the city of Wilmington. And there is going to be an internship with a lot of youth from the city of Wilmington. So as everyone has stated, it has been ongoing discussions, and I think it will be ongoing discussions, and we are very much in support of this money, and we want to make sure we're involved. Right now, as this was stated, we don't have the whole 55 million, because I heard someone say that we have 55 million and we don't. And I'm just glad right now at this particular time that the violence prevention part of it is involved in this process, because that's one of our main issues in the city of Wilmington. You hear it all over the city. It's an epidemic of violence, and I'm glad to see the outstanding amount put in here for the violence prevention. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Fields?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just want to say that those conversations that my council members talked about, I have had those conversations, and I have had a part in saying and what I would like to see happen with the money, as far as the nonprofits, as far as crime, as far as rebuilding our community. And I think they're listening. I know they're listening. So I just want everybody to know, like everybody said, it's a continuing conversation, but they're hearing what we have to say, and we're going to get some things done throughout the city of Wilmington. So I'm going to ask everybody, like my other counterparts said, please trust us, because we're doing what we need to do in order to get what needs to be done. We got to build this city back, block, 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 and that's what's going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Spadola?
Thank you, Council President. I'm definitely sympathetic to what Councilmember Gray was saying in terms of, a lot of other cities are having a straight up and down legislative vote on, basically each nickel and dime that's going out. And I was pushing, and the Finance Committee, a couple members had a couple conversations with the administration to push for that. Unfortunately, our city charter isn't set up in a way that would be conducive to that. And to the mayor's and the administration's credit, they have kept their word in terms of being inclusive. And I think there's been a lot of productive conversations about, where funding should go. And I have no doubt they will keep up with that. So it's not perfect, but I think it's the best we can do as a legislative body with the city charter we have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Walsh?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think the other thing we have to take into consideration with all of this is, and I know each of us is frustrated at what we're seeing as the lack of something going on, but things are very much going on behind the scenes. Even those recommendations that we make in the administration, they have to be investigated themselves to make sure that they are a solid nonprofit, not that they're like a Johnny-come-lately, throw a nonprofit together and then have very little of the money used for programs that are going to be used by our citizens, but rather have it being used towards salaries for adults. And they have to be careful. They have to be careful that the money that they're awarding is not going to be misused. And I've had long discussions with the administration about this. Because at the end of the day, we're all answerable to somebody. And they're answerable to feds who are going to wonder where their money disappeared to if it's not spent wisely. So I think they've been very open. If one just bothers to pick up the phone and talk with any one of 5 aides, you can have a very honest conversation about what the chances are of something that you might be very interested in or that you know our city needs. So I think they're doing a fairly decent job. Thank you.
Thank you. This time we will, Councilwoman Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just also, not to echo what comments have been made this evening, but I did want to point out that I did reach out to the Chief of Staff in the Mayor's office in regards to the amounts, because that part wasn't quite clear to me in regards to why those certain amounts were selected for those different ones. And what was told to me is that they're more of placeholders, and that, again, nothing is set in stone. So I would say to the community to stay engaged and involved throughout the process, because, again, nothing is set in stone at this current moment, and line items can change as far as amounts. So I would just say stay diligent during this process as we go through, and they do plan to come back to council and have conversations with us in regards to how they're being spent, especially as the first 26 million that we have, that still has to be delegated as far as what that money will be spent on as well. So just stay engaged and involved in the conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to go to our second round of comments from council members. Council Member Gray.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree with my other council members, and I have been engaged in conversations with the administration, and I appreciate that. At my last conversation, when I was engaged, I was given specifics on nonprofits, and I was just expressing I was disappointed those specific nonprofits were not in this resolution. I was given specifics, so I'm not going to name them, but if things will change, then I guess they may change. But I would like to correct what someone said. When the money comes from the feds, council does have the power, to my understanding legally, to have an ordinance to specifically designate money. We don't have to vote to give the whole bucket of money to the administration. We did vote to do that, but we don't have to do it. So when the next round of money comes, if we are organized and we have projects like a nonviolence project or a gun violence program, we could vote to have money directly put into those programs when we get the next round of money, which will not come in until next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Carvera.
Yes, I just wanted to circle back and also add that out of those ARPA funds, they're setting aside monies to help those families that are displaced from the flood on the east side as we continue to have that conversation that folks are living in hotels. And they're actually setting aside money to help those families, being that for whatever reason, we still have not gotten our FEMA dollars to help with that situation. And the other thing that was shared with me is that when the $30,000 of the CARE Act money ran out for that water bill assistance, for that grant and funds that we are providing to help people with the water bill, since the water moratorium keeps coming up, that $150,000 are also being set aside from ARPA. And that is the current money that's in there now that people can apply to get help. And if that fund diminishes, the administration is prepared to further fund it. So if people need help with their water bills, they can call, they can apply. I'm glad that the glitch was fixed on the website so people can apply. So anyone who has a shutoff notice can actually make a payment arrangement and can get funding to help them and apply. No one has to have their water shut off. If anybody's getting their water shut off, it's because they're not following up, calling and making arrangements. So this is what some of that money is being used for, the very things that were addressed today. So I just wanted to clarify on that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you. I just wanted to clear what Councilwoman Cabrera said. She said east side. She meant to say the 11th Street Bridge flood victims. Yes, and I'm glad she mentioned that because we had that conversation. Also, I would like to make a statement that we have worked hand in hand. Council has worked hand in hand with the administration when considering how these funds are being spent. So For just people in the public, I can't say that we haven't worked hand in hand with the administration for as funding. They have, like I said, been very transparent. And I want to also give thanks to the Chief of Staff Daniel and President Congo for working diligently, making sure that the administration listens to us. And as everyone has stated, it's not the full amount, it's just a partial amount, and we are on top of things as much as possible. So thanks again.
Thank you. Councilwoman Harley?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I think that the key thing here at this point is execution. We've had conversations, we've submitted information, and as Councilmember Cabrera said, there are some dollars being used, especially as it related to replenishing the utility fund for the water bills, and that's great. But as it relates to the conversations and the dialogues and the updates that we have participated in between the council members and the administration, that's what's key, execution. And as it has already been mentioned, all the council members, we all are feeling collectively the same way as it relates to the community, wanting to make sure that what we've talked about, what we have suggested collectively, that it does get executed. And we all are looking forward to that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, thank you. And just to follow up what Councilwoman Harley just spoke to, it is time for, I think, the administration to execute on the conversation that have been going on between council and the administration and the community. I guess best case scenario would be for the administration to like put out some type of press release so that the community can know about the conversations that have been going on and what their intentions are. You know, it's not the best case scenario. I think all other municipalities, the money does have to go through council to be approved. That's not happening in this case, but we do want to make sure that the community knows that council has been very engaged, and the administration has they have come up with some good solutions. I have to give it to them that there is plenty of money that's going to dealing with the violence in our communities and helping with our nonprofits. Nowhere near enough. I believe that the conversation really needs to be had also on the state level, so that we're not being so reactive in trying to combat violence, but we're being more proactive, so that the children in the communities that are experiencing this violence, that they don't even have to go through it, because we're raising more well-rounded individuals, and that just goes to education. But that's another topic. But I think it's time for the administration just to put out some information to the community so that they know the work that has been going on between council and the administration. And I do see someone from the public that has your hand raised. I'm not ignoring you, but at this time, we don't have public comment during legislation. So you're not being ignored. I just wanted to make that known. Seeing no other council members with their hands raised, I'll go back to our sponsor, Councilman Johnson.
I appreciate everyone's time and sentiments in the public for being engaged. And what I can tell you is, as everyone has seen, as finance chair, I've been as aggressive as possible, extremely aggressive to making our needs known, and that's how we got to this point. We have some legal constraints with the code and the charter that we're navigating around, but we will have a plan that's executed, by the people and for the people. And that's exactly what Council President said, and that's what we're doing on the Finance Committee. There will be some announcements soon. I know a lot of folks are waiting, but I think it's a good thing that we're being so patient and we're being very careful and deliberate. Because what would happen if we had a vote on every nonprofit today, just a resolution? Then people that didn't get their applications in would be shut out. And there'd be a lot of unhappy people. So I think the fact that it's taken months is a good thing. I know it's hard. A lot of folks are struggling, but as announcements are made, a plan will be unfolded. So I think, I think the key is just that everyone stay tight, stay alert, stay engaged. We do have to make sure that the money is well used. because if it's misused or the nonprofits don't do the proper reporting, then it's going to come back on the city, and the city can get dinged. So we have to make sure that the nonprofits that are doing the good work are going to be supported. And one last mention is, outside of the administration funds, there's a pot for just city council. So similar to our community support funds, there's going to be a councilmatic pot. So each council member here is going to have money set aside outside of the control of the administration. So that's one key facet of this plan, is that there is still going to be a councilmatic control part of this too. And this is something which the projects will go directly to that council member. So that's just, some FYI for the public. So just don't let your council member off the hook. There's still a lot that the council member can do individually outside of the administration in regard to it, these smaller dollar grants. So with that, I would just ask for a roll call vote, and I hope I have everyone's support. Thank you.
Yes, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes,
12 yeas and 1 absent.
declared adopted.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for a third and final reading.
Ordinance 21057, Agenda 0114, an ordinance to authorize and approve a multi-year amendment to the agreement between the City of Wilmington and Teladoc Health, Inc. for telehealth services.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea-nay vote.
Second.
It's been
Second.
properly moved and seconded that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea-nay vote. On the question?
Mr. President, this is a contract for Teladoc Health. This ordinance is being presented as this is a multi-year amendment between the City of Wilmington and Teladoc Health. HR department strongly has in the past past year and a half has pivoted to offering more Teladoc services for our very hardworking essential city workers, and we're looking to expand that program. I think it's very good, and Ms. Smith from HR has talked about the great work that Teladoc Health has added to our arsenal. So with that, I ask for everyone's support.
Councilwoman Fields?
Yes, I just want to say that I think this is a good piece because Teladoc, some people don't understand, like you can be on your phone and they'll send you a link, you hit the link and your doctor is right there and you can have that conversation. So you don't have to take off work, you don't have to use your PTO days, you don't have to eat through your lunch in order to take off. So I just think this is beneficial for the City of Wilmington and our employees. And I just give Ms. Smith kudos for even, just making sure this go forth. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cabrera?
I also want to add that as someone who had to use the Teladoc system, that it does save you time. You don't have to go see a doctor. And during the pandemic, when the doctors weren't even letting you in the offices unless it was something serious and major, that it did allow for people to have access to medical care. And of course, this is for us, the employees, but just in general, people should use those services out there because this is being made available since COVID. It's now become more popular, but it's been, telemedicine has been around for a long time. And I think it's just a wave of the future on how we can do things more efficiently and still continue to take care of our health in general as a community and, of course, as our city employees by approving this contract that we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Oliver?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not going to repeat what my council members have said, but I think this is really good for HR to have brought this to our attention. As everyone said, this has been ongoing anyway, and I'd like to be a co-sponsor.
Thank you. I would also like to be added as a co-sponsor. I just want to, again, give kudos to Mrs. Smith and her whole team just for continuing to being innovative and keeping us all healthy. And seeing no other hands raised, go back to the sponsor.
And at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. President for a roll call vote.
Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 absent.
Declared adopted.
All right, Mr. President, I have another item to present. I have an ordinance to present and call for a third and final reading.
Ordinance 21058, Agenda 0115, an ordinance to authorize and approve a product purchasing agreement between the City of Wilmington and Cambridge Computer Services, Inc. for a storage area network.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea/nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea/nay vote on the question.
Mr. President, this is just a administrative contract for IT to continue to boost their cloud computing capacity, and it's much needed at this time.
Seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 absent.
Declared adopted.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. I have no further items.
All right, thank you, Councilman Johnson. Councilmember Field.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember Cabrera.
Yes, Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 21061, Agenda 0122, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to codify the continued existence of the Wilmington Neighborhood Conservancy Land Bank Corporation and to revise the membership of its boards of directors.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to codify the continuous existence of the Wilmington Neighborhood Conservancy Land Bank Corporation and to revise the membership of its board of directors.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and moved and referred to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
That's all for me, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember Dixon.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember Spadola.
Nothing tonight, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember Walsh.
No legislation, Mr. President.
Thank you. At
And
this
with
time,
this being the end of Mr. President,
yes, ma'am.
with this being the end of the legislation, permission to leave, please.
Yes, permission granted. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll move to petitions and communications. We're going to go in reverse order, starting with Councilmember Spadola.
Thank you, Council President. Nothing tonight.
Thank you, Councilwoman Dixon.
Mr. President, this, happy holidays, everyone, and as this is our last full council meeting before our break. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Cabrera.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, would like to wish our residents a very happy holiday season. And please just remember to check in on your neighbors as the cold weather is here. We didn't get that little bit of snow that we were promised, but please keep in mind the elderly residents that live in your neighborhood, if they need help with shoveling, if they need to go to the store, groceries, anything like that. Some people are home infirm, they cannot get out. Also keep in mind safety, the fire hazards of electric and kerosene heaters, as well as using too many extension cords plugged into one outlet. Safety first. Fires are very predominant during this time of year, so we really do not want anyone to be endangered, especially as people are celebrating the holidays. And with that, be mindful of the dangers that are out there too, as there's people that are opportunists, and be alert, be vigilant. The holidays are a wonderful time to come together and gather, but the holidays also cause a lot of stress, especially during a time where people are still financially trying to recuperate, and we have this push to continue to shop and buy and give, and it just puts a lot of undue pressure. So take advantage of the programs that are out there, the toy drives, contribute if you can, and apply to get assistance from your local church and neighborhood association so that you too could have a Christmas for your children. So with that, we thank you very much for our first year with this session in council. It's been wonderful to serve with my colleagues, and I look forward to 2022 and getting the work done for the people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman Field.
Nothing tonight, nothing to add, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Johnson.
Just as a quick announcement, there is a holiday cheer event hosted by Be Ready CDC. I wasn't sure if my colleague would. It's on the border of our district, so we want to make sure that everyone attends. It's from 10 to 12 at 4th and Rodney Park, where the Pastor Lottie mural is. It should be really good. Santa Claus will be there. There'll be a chance to win the ShopRite food basket, and as well there will be other food, free food and share. So again, it's hosted by Be Ready CDC and Westside Grows. And otherwise, it's, as we come to this time of year, especially think of your small businesses. There's still Small Business Saturday throughout the city of Wilmington. So please engage with your local vendors, or if you can't make it out, order online, as many of them depend on the revenue during this time of year to stay afloat the rest of the year. So again, please shop from your local vendors. And lastly, January will quickly approach, and we'll be hosting another Finance Committee meeting. I believe it's going to be this first Tuesday of the year. And as always, we've mentioned, please continue to submit your ideas to arpideas@wilmingtonde.gov. If you have an idea of how we can rebuild Wilmington, use this holiday and possible time off wisely. If you have an idea or question, please engage with me as the chair or Vice Chair Harley. We're here and available to answer questions about grant proposals. But please, we need to see your ideas. So everyone have a safe and happy holiday, and try not to eat too much and be safe.
Thank you, Councilwoman McCoy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to state that the Hedgeville Civic Association, I believe they actually are having a winter party, little get together on December 11th, which is the Saturday. They'll be just giving out little things to the community. Just want to make certain that they keep our kiddies nice and warm. That is going to be Saturday, December 11th at 11 a.m. at the Youth Empowerment Center. The address is 1009 Sycamore Street. That's basically it. I just have one more thing just to add. 2021 in our community, we've actually lost quite a few people. Not only just to violence, but to other things. I just found out that one of our MPC members, a former MPC member, has transitioned. So I just want to say to all those who have had a loved one lost this year, or are coming up on our holidays, that I wish you, comfort, for you and your family. And, as you are remembering those that you have loved, that you are unable to be with this Christmas. So happy holidays to everyone. And, for those you can be around, just give them a little tighter squeeze this year.
Thank you, Councilwoman Fields.
Yes, Council President, thank you. On December the 18th at 12 noon, it's Christmas Festival of Hope toy and grocery giveaway. Free coats, free sneakers, free socks, with the community partners doing job development, grief counseling, mentoring, health and wellness, tutoring, and parent ministry. It's going to be at William Hicks Anderson Community Center, which is 501 North Madison Street, Wilmington, Delaware. Reach Gospel Radio will be hosting, and the radio station is 89.1 FM. So we're asking everybody to come out. We had a good time for Thanksgiving, and I know we're going to have a good time for Christmas. So please tell your neighbor, please tell your friend, come on out. They're going to have a good time. And also on Christmas Day, the Mercedes M. Fields Community Christmas Breakfast on Christmas Day, December the 25th, at William Hicks Anderson Community Center. We will be giving out hot breakfast that day. from 8 to 11. So we're just asking to let the homeless know, let those community members know that we will be giving out a hot breakfast that morning, on Christmas morning, and we may have some gift bags to give away as well. So we're still needing some more donations. So we're asking for more donations. Other than that, I just want to say to my colleagues and to the residents of the city of Wilmington, Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a blessed new year. And we are going to continue doing what we need to do for the city of Wilmington. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Harley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. First, I want to make some corrections and offer clarity on several comments made during public comments. On a light note, one correction is that the representative from the Homes Campaign stated that no council members responded to the Homes letter regarding the housing solutions for the victims of Hurricane Ida. And I do want to state that on December the 3rd that I did respond to the letter as it related to what the city was doing, what other municipalities were doing, and my overall response to that letter. So that's a correction, that there was a council member that did respond. We do not ignore the Homes Campaign. We appreciate what they're doing, and as much as possible, we're trying to work together. I wanted to offer clarity around the fact that none of the ARPS money is being utilized for utilities. It was already stated during the different rounds on the question, but for clarity, the utility assistance program for the city was replenished with ARPA funds. I also want to offer clarity around when a statement was being made about the Hurricane Ida and the northeast section of Wilmington. The wetlands was in that some kind of way, but I just wanted to make it clear that the wetlands has nothing to do or had nothing to do with Hurricane Ida as it related to their flooding. The project that's going on with the wetlands is totally separate, and certainly it had no negative impact. But on a more positive note, I want to share that the public library on this Saturday, the Wilmington Public Library, starting around 10 o'clock, they're going to also have a code, toy, and book giveaway. So if you live in the city of Wilmington, even though it's being held at the Wilmington Public Library, if you have a need for coat, toys, and books, they are going to have the giveaway. And in the 4th District, we have 2 new businesses that have opened. One is called Town and Shore Handcrafted. It is located on Market Street between 2nd and 3rd, and it is a phenomenal boutique. Actually, when you go in there, you feel like you're on 5th Avenue in New York or maybe in Soho. But it is a minority business. She's a female, and she's also African American, and she has done a excellent job. She literally makes handbags. She literally makes leather shoes, and it's just amazing and unbelievable. And again, it's called Town and Shore. It's located on Market Street between 2nd and 3rd on Market Street. And then we have Wilma's. Wilma's right on 9th and Market is open. And all of us are looking for more fun things to do downtown. And we no longer just have the main event out in Christiana, but now we have Wilma's on 9th and Market, where you can bring your family and just enjoy some fun over the holidays. So I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that we have somewhere to go for fun while we're off during the holidays. And I too want to say happy holidays to everyone. Make sure you're safe. Safety is always first, and enjoy your family and friends. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too would like to, I didn't hear the comment from the Homes Campaign, but I did speak to, when I saw the letter, I was able to speak to Chief of Staff, and I think Daniel did reply to the letter. So that was part of my comments. Also, I would like to mention, when we're talking about the flood victims, I've been very active with Kingswood with the flood Hurricane Ida victims over 11th Street Bridge. They already gave a round one of gift cards of $2,500. I was very active in that conversation to the families over there. Secondly, we're meeting tomorrow with Kingswood and Matt Myers. He's going to give them some money, hopefully. So I have been very engaged with the conversations with the regarding the Hurricane Ida victims over 11th Street Bridge. So if anybody over there, most of the residents over there will tell you, we talk on the phone. I'm constantly going over there. I was just over there last weekend, dinner with someone. So I'm very active with that whole process. Next, I would like to say, Old Brandywine Village had a nice light up the village last night. I'd like to thank Bev Zimmerman, Peg Todd, and Jim Sheraton, and all of the individuals who helped put that together. It was very nice. Next, I would like to announce December the 20th, we're having a little dinner for Ministry of Caring for Christmas, their Christmas party. This would be their third Christmas party. We couldn't have it last year because of COVID, but I'm looking forward to having it with the 25 members on 10th, East 10th Street. Next, I know Councilman Harley mentioned the code drive, and that is in conjunction with Stubbs School. Ken Livingston said make sure we mention that, but Councilman Harley already mentioned it. Next, I'd like to echo what Councilman Cabral said for the holidays. Please check your fire detectors. You can always call 311. If your battery is low, if you're having some issues, please call the fire department. They are out right about now, putting out literature, letting everybody know, be safe for the holidays, because this is around the time with the Christmas trees, etc. I would like to say happy birthday to my brother Alonzo. His birthday is on Christmas. I want to give him a shout out. And I want to thank Chris Johnson for the outstanding job that he has done as the finance chair with keeping everybody updated. I'm calling him 6 o'clock in the morning. I noticed this council doesn't answer their phones early, but I do text. I'm texting people early, but I want to thank Chris for taking the time and trying to keep all of us engaged so nobody's out of the loop. And I think that's about it. Happy holidays, and I really enjoyed working with this council all year, and I look forward to 2022 to continue the progress that we're making. Thanks again, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I'd like to say that the POW Center is planning to have a coat drive on December 18th. I've just dropped off a bunch of coats. So if you're in need, please stop by there, call. See, I don't know what time it's going to be. And also, I'd like to say that for everyone that keeps discussing our violence and the drug problem in the city, council members are discussing these problems. There are various council members that have ideas and solutions or possible programs, but as been stated, we're working through them and trying to see which ones would best fit Wilmington with its population and its problems. So we are working on trying to get a handle on something that will help us with the gun violence and also the drug problem. With that, I wish everyone a joyous holiday and holy days, and hopefully you will find joy in your life and safety. And if anyone needs assistance, I think I know council is open during the holidays, so email or call us and we'll see if we can give you the assistance during our break. And I'll see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to give a few minutes to Councilwoman Fields.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to mention that I do have a new business in my district. It's called Philly Meat Market and Deli, and the address is 1005 West 4th Street. It's where the Family Dollar used to be. I've talked to the owners, and I visited there, and the meat is fresh. The store is clean, and it's putting we have a food shortage in the fifth district. So I'm just glad that they were able to come, because if you know, Save-A-Lot closed down on Lancaster Avenue. So now we have the meat market. So I'm just asking everybody, go by, visit, clean food. Really fresh and clean store. Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, Councilwoman Harley has a few more comments.
Thank you, Council President. Because we're coming to an end of this particular time and season, I wanted to just say this because of the time that we are dealing with as it relates to Hurricane Ida. I really do want to give a shout out to Councilwoman Oliver. We were at an event recently, and we were supposed to have been there socializing, but I want you to know that she was definitely there networking on behalf of the victims of Hurricane Ida. She was there. She was basically putting her bid in for more money, and how much money that, even though they have already given out money, she was really, really advocating in a way that I was really, really impressed. And I'm just saying it publicly because a lot of times the community just don't get the opportunity to see how we are advocating and fighting for them. And I just wanted to give her a shout out because, like I said, I was trying to enjoy myself, but she was around that room talking about how she could get more money for the victims that were impacted by Hurricane Ida. And I just wanted to share that because a lot of times the community just don't see it, they don't hear it, and they don't know it. So thank you, Council Member Oliver.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, just a couple of upcoming dates. On December the 16th at 5 p.m., we're going to have another redistricting committee. Again, it starts at 5. You're welcome to come into council chambers, or you can join us virtually. On December the 23rd, I am going to have a toy and clothes drive. It's going to be at the Congo Legacy Center. It's going to be on Thursday, December 23rd, from 9 to 2 a.m. So please come and donate an unwrapped toy, donate clothes, shoes, sneakers, anything that you think might be a help to a family this holiday season. Also want to announce that the Stop the Violence Prayer Chain Foundation, Margaret Guy, who is constantly doing things for the city of Wilmington and for our county and for our state, they are having a Christmas toy drive. It is going to be on December the 16th. On December the 18th, they're asking that all donations be to them by December the 16th. Again, they will distribute all of their toys on Saturday, December the 18th at 4 p.m. Their location is 103 Rogers Road in Wilmington. You can call for more details, 302-981-9594. Again, if you want to donate, 302-981-9594, or if you could use a little help during this holiday season, you can call them. Again, they're only asking for new unwrapped toys. So again, just please call them at 981-9594. I want to thank Margaret Guy and her team for everything that they do for our community. I want to thank those who gave public comment on Deacon Earl Tate. We have requested that our Public Works Department do a survey, and they will be providing a statement shortly regarding speed bumps. So just want to know that your voice is definitely being heard. I just want to thank council staff for all of their assistance and for the outstanding jobs they have done throughout this year. I know that's on behalf of myself and all of council. We just thank you so much for just making our jobs easier and just doing everything that you have done for us and for our community. Please give us any feedback on how we can just do things better. We want you to continue to be happy at work and be productive, not only for council staff, but all city employees. We just want to thank you on behalf of all of our city council members. Thank you for everything that you do just to help keep our city running. But definitely a special shout out to all of our council staff. You guys are bar none the best. I think that's everything. Yeah, definitely. And just remember, as a lot of my council members have already spoke about, just remember that the reason for the season, it's not about getting gifts. Don't drive yourselves crazy. Don't go in debt trying to prove to someone who already knows that you love them, that you do love them. It's just about family and friends and creating memories. And that's it. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And just be with family and friends. Be careful. As someone mentioned, this is a time where there are a lot of drunk drivers, so please be careful. Please call an Uber if you need an Uber. Call a Lyft. Call a friend. Call a family member. We want to try to keep everyone safe during this holiday time. Again, just remember the reason for the season, and it's about love, and it's about family and friends, and just creating memories with each other. So with that, I will. I guess I also want to thank my colleagues. Job well done. We almost have a year under our belts. Learning lessons and growing lessons for all of us. Look forward to working with all of you on the next year and the upcoming years. And I just been corrected that Miss Guy's event is the 19th, not the 18th. So her event is going to be, her tour drive is going to be on December the 19th. I want to see how awesome our staff is. But again, just thank all my colleagues. I love working with you all. I love all the one council events that we had throughout the year, just working together for our community. We don't always agree, but I think that we're all here for our community. We want to continue our one council events just to show them that no matter what, we're here for them at the end of the day. And with that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.